So now that we have this wedding expo in place, you know, me and Mitchell had a discussion and we talked about buying more equipment, which means more swiping of the credit card. So we bought some more gadgets to at least look like we can play the part at the wedding
Look
expo.
legit, right?
Right, because we didn't have any footage of weddings or anything at that time. So it was basically us just freestyling to clients like, hey, look, you know, we don't have any footage or anything like that, but this is our equipment right here, and we're actually filming this wedding expo. And basically, like, when people saw us filming the wedding expo, they kind of believed like we were legit. So that's how we were able to like get at least 4 clients, I think we booked that day.
But here's the thing, like that is somebody's special day. You only get one shot.
Right.
Hopefully, if it works out.
Right.
So I'm not sure I'm booking a videographer whose footage I have not seen.
Right. Now let me tell you this though. If I tell you the price,
Okay, so that's why that was the draw.
that was the draw. So like the first wedding we shot, we only charged $500.
No, you didn't.
500.
I'm done. Okay.
$500.
Okay, for context, for people who have never done the budget for a large scale event,
Right.
what is the standard or the average cost for shooting video and photography for a wedding?
Oh, if I had to give you a range, a number for both, I mean, I know people, just photographers, charge like 4 or 5, 3 to 5 grand.
Yes, just for
Just
one, not even
photographers.
both elements.
And then, you know, some videographers, same amount, 5, 6 grand. So if you add that together, I mean, you're 10 plus.
So you said to people for $500.
I didn't, like, here's the thing, I didn't say that to everybody.
Okay.
So like, you know, certain people would, you know, say, hey, since we didn't see your footage, I mean, you know, work with us. And like, I knew, you know, once we booked those people, regardless if it was for $500 or for nothing, the minute we get some content, I was thinking ahead. I was thinking of the future. So I sacrificed some money on the line to, you know, for the greater good, which for right now, things are looking good.
So what were you offering for $500?
Well, that was photos. So Mitchell, he
Okay.
did the photos for that wedding. And in that wedding, we decided to do video for them for free.
You comped the video portion.
Right. We comped the video portion. They ended up giving us like a tip after for doing that.
But it wasn't $5,000. It
No,
wasn't
not
a
at all, not even
$5,000
close.
tip.
But what happened was, you know, they told a bunch of other people, and then it just was like snowball effect after that, which I already knew was gonna happen as long as I had proof of work to show. But you know, that day at the expo, you know, it was one couple who paid $500 for photos, and then like another couple for video, we charged them $1,200, which is nothing again.
So you ended up you're doing video. Did you present like edited, like cinematography for these folks for their wedding, or was it just like, okay, you paid $500 or $1,200? Here's the footage.
I had like old footage back from when I was you know, doing my own thing years ago, but I had the packages there. I told them, this is what I told them too. You know, we're filming this expo. Let me send this to you, and then, you know.
No, I mean when you were done. So
Right.
like when you charge them, I feel like I can't even say $500.
Well,
I feel like I gotta say $500. Like it's so low, you can't even enunciate.
The booking didn't happen that day though.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
yes.
So, like, they saw the wedding expo video, and then even still, that's not a wedding.
Right, but I'm saying what you charge them so little. Did
Right.
you actually edit their wedding video to look like,
Yes.
you know, what
Yes.
we see
Yes.
now? I mean, people have like whole trailers for their weddings now.
Yes, we did the same thing. We did the same exact thing.
$500. Okay, so you got more work
Right.
after that, and how did you expand your business from that point on?
So after that, we booked those weddings. We booked those weddings, and then after that, we had like little events going on like throughout that year. So we just started cold calling people, just saying, hey, we do this, we do that, and people were just, finding a way to just believe in us. We were really just talking, freestyling, really. So we did those 4 weddings that year, and then now we fast forward to 2018, and we did another barter service with another wedding expo company. So we found a way to film expos out in Baltimore, DC, and for Philly, we paid for the Philly expo. They didn't want to barter services for us with that. So after we did that, we were able to have the product we had from 2017 to book some weddings out in that DMV area, because that's essentially like we wanted to expand. Like I always talked to Mitchell, and he always told me like he never wanted to be local. Like as far as like, we're from Connecticut, but he lives in Philly. He always thought bigger. Like let's take this whole East Coast. So then we started calling people, and that's how we ended up shooting wedding expos out in the DMV area. And we booked more weddings there, and then things just kept spiraling after that, and now we're here.
And what does the credit card balance look like today?
Oh man, the credit. Yeah, we gotta touch base on that. So yeah, more swiping of the credit card happened. But we were paying it off actively from the money that we got, even though it wasn't that much money. We all have jobs, because it's just not me and Mitchell and Tailor Made. We have 2 other guys. We all have full-time jobs, so we're just paying it down. We got the real estate thing going on, so when this house sells, we'll be debt-free.
Yeah, let's talk about the real estate thing, because it's come up a couple of times on the show. People who are pursuing their passions, either full-time or doing that on the side, and also have a full-time job, but are utilizing real estate as a way to generate wealth and pay off debt. So how did you get into the real estate space?
Well, my family, they own a couple of 2 families out in the Hartford area. So like I've always been exposed to it. Something I always wanted to do. Mitchell talked about it too, but like I said, Mitchell kind of had the idea of bringing his friends together. We all paid a decent amount of money to buy this house in Philly. And it made sense because he showed me it was in an area upcoming. He knows the market better than me out in Philly. So he just explained how if we just keep flipping houses, we can make some good money. But at the time, Tailor Made wasn't a thought.
Okay.
So when we did that deal, I was thinking, okay, like extra money. But then when he brought Tailor Made to my mind, like, I want to help you pursue your dream. And when we were swiping our cards, we was also thinking, well, we had this money sitting in this house. So essentially, like, even though we're swiping for like equipment, it's more so an investment.
And you have equity somewhere
else. We have equity somewhere else. And once we build clientele, those gigs can pay off the credit card as well. So like, I'm doing that right now. Like, if we shoot a wedding and when I pay myself, I just automatically put it on my credit card. So I'm not out here with just a balance and,
getting the checks from the weddings.
Right, and just spending
making it rain.
Right, no, yeah.
So you have a couple of endeavors that you're doing with friends.
Right.
A lot of times there's a suspicion when even someone that comes to you and says, I have this real estate investment opportunity, or, hey, we should start this business. I just need you to put up this money and I'll put up that money. I don't want to say that that's exclusive to in communities of color, the level of suspicion and mistrust, but it does happen. People are afraid to take what little they have and dump it into an opportunity that can generate a return, but it's not necessarily going to generate a return right away.
Right.
So for you, did you ever have that like hesitance around it, or a moment of like, should I do this? Should I dump all this money? Should I rack up all this debt?
I did. I did. When Mitchell brought it to me, I'm like, we're not going to sign a contract or nothing. He's like, nah, man, I trust these guys. I went off of the pure trust of
So you
him.
had no contract for a real estate deal?
No contract. Mitchell got all that stuff under control. So, like, I wasn't really worried, So, like, I trust him with my life. So, when he brought it to my attention, I didn't really think more so about, someone, like, taking the money or anything. Once I knew he was in control, I felt good about it.
So it may be too because you guys have such a history as well. It wasn't like somebody you just met last year. And I know now That Mitchell is very convincing.
Yeah.
And he will have you believing that anything is possible.
That's his thing.
And you're like, where do I write the check?
Right,
You know,
right.
so he has a certain je ne sais quoi, as they say.
No, you're right. Because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a credit card spender like that. But Mitchell's like, we're going to spend the money anyway. We might as well do it right now. And I'm like, yo, you're right. Like, let's do it. So, but I want to touch back on when we were filming, when we were at the wedding expo. So, this wedding expo that passed, you know, we were in Connecticut, and a lot of black people were supporting us at these expos.
Really?
We were like one of the only black videographer businesses, cinematography businesses there. So this guy, white guy, comes up to me and he goes, hey man, I see you guys doing like some big numbers over here. This, that, and the third. A lot of people are coming over here. I see some of the white people kind of like walking past you though. And I'm like, all right. I mean,
You're
I
like,
didn't
it's,
notice.
you know, no
Cause
sweat
they were,
off your back.
right, they were, I didn't notice that. He was like, you know, I think you guys need a white face.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, you guys need someone white to represent you guys. Cause you guys are so talented. He was looking at our videos and stuff like that. And he was just telling me like, hey, maybe we should talk about, you know, me, like just representing your company as the face so we can get some more white clientele. And I'm just thinking like, that's when I knew right there, like, we doing something big because this guy had big cameras, all types of stuff, and nobody was paying him no mind. Like, I think he kind of outpriced himself, you know what I mean? And I just kind of figured out the market as far as, you know, just giving a product for my people. If white people want to come, I'm open to that too.
Right,
I'm
of
not
course.
saying, yeah, but you know, I do this, I want to give quality video for my people because I always felt like, you know, I would see like wedding videos on YouTube and I would look at the prices. I'm like, damn, like I know people can't afford these prices. But if we have a good product and we could kind of make it affordable, but still make a profit, we could kill the game. So I just wanted to like bring that up because I found it kind of strange. Somebody white is coming up to us saying, you know, we should have a white face.
Well, it speaks to, well, I mean, he said it explicitly, but it speaks to implicit bias.
Right.
So when people see you, a service provider who's ready, willing, and able is at the expo, one of which you paid for, they're like
Not
everybody
really,
else. Well, the Philly one, right? They wanted you to put some money out there, right? That's the one I mean that you paid for.
Right.
So like everybody else, you are entitled to be there, but just by virtue of you being black men, only black prospective clients coming to you.
Right.
Like, what does that say about the society that we live in? And I think that is an obstacle for entrepreneurs in that when you look a certain way, there's already this expectation that it's going to be subpar. And sometimes that crosses racial lines in that our own people feel that way as well. There's an obstacle to overcome there to prove that you operate in a standard of excellence. And that doesn't go just for entrepreneurship. It goes for employment.
Right.
Any type of service that you provide, there's an implicit bias. Do you want to expand beyond serving your own? Tell the truth.
I mean, I love my people. And I don't love money, but you need money, you know, to expand. So who's ever willing, a paying customer, I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm here for a paying customer. If I have to, whatever color you are, I'm here to serve you.
Are they coming to you yet?
Not really. Not really. But I'm not really, I don't worry about it at all. You know, I've done work, we've done work with the Brooklyn Borough president, a couple other big companies that we can't discuss, but they own the product, and I'm cool with that. Black companies as well, you know what I mean? So as long as I'm, you know, my purpose in the beginning was, you know, I was thinking of my people. So, but I'm willing to work with anybody.
Right.
You know, that doesn't hinder, you know, anything.
So let's talk about the products that you've done, the things that you've created that your name is not on. So someone has bought it off you and said, okay, we own the rights to this, we're gonna slap our branding on it.
Right.
Have you ever had a moment where you did that and then something took off and you were like, man, my name is not even on that and I know that it's my work?
Oh, I wouldn't say it took off, but it was like, it's more so, I don't know, I feel like those gigs sometimes we kind of get underpaid because like you're going off the name. You could
Right.
kind of get caught up in the name, and you want to work with a company so bad.
Be able to say you work with them.
Right, and you're almost like underpricing yourself, you know. So sometimes I'm not really looking for that, but it never really took off to where I was like, dang, my name is.
You feel like you missed something.
Right, yeah, not yet. It hasn't, at least from my knowledge, you know what I mean? But no, that hasn't happened. But I think after when we shot when we went to the Philly Expo, and we shot a wedding for a couple out there, a pastor, these two pastors, young pastors, this moment of the wedding went viral. So I think that actually put us in a different space now. That made me feel good because like our name was on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like those moments right there is more like I would take over working with a big company. Like
Yeah. But I think also too, I want to highlight that from the time you guys were offering $500 packages just to get new footage and get your name out there until now, the standard of excellence was never different. So you operate with a certain eye and a level of creativity and dedication from day one.
Right.
And I think sometimes what happens is people have really great ideas and they don't necessarily have the capacity or the motivation to put it out and as like their best foot forward and display the best of themselves, not knowing that you don't know where that's going to take you. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should always give people a deep discount, but if it's something, if it can serve you in a way, which is the question that I always ask myself, right? Because I believe when I step to the table, when I agree to do something, whether I'm doing it for free, discounted, or at market rate, I'm going to give you 110%.
Right.
So I don't, and to make sure I don't resent giving you it at a discounted rate or for free, I ask myself a question. Is this somebody I just want to help?
Right.
Is this something that that can lift me up in a way or expand my brand or give me a new level of exposure? Or is there something they can give me in return? I ask those questions. And if I can answer one of those questions, then it makes sense. So for you, I think what you got in return is the collateral to be able to get the next gig and the next gig and the next gig. So operating under that spirit of excellence and then now having a tipping point.
Yeah.
All the work you've been putting in and all the investing, not just, you know, in the monetary sense, but figuratively as well, investing the time. Now you've got something that's taken on a life of its own and people are like, who shot this?
Look, when you look at that credit card balance, you're gonna find a way. That was I used to look at it and there was no choice. Like this has to happen. So I mean, and then I think my advantage was working a job. I think if I didn't work that 9 to 5, or if I didn't have that, you know, the equity somewhere else, maybe I would have priced myself out. But me knowing that, you know, I make a pretty good income at my, you know, my regular, so I just need the content. And I knew this was gonna happen. I'm telling you, I seen this from the beginning because I don't think no one out in the videography business works harder than me and Mitchell. Like we're willing to outwork anybody. Some people might have, you know, more equipment and other things, but as far as work ethic, we will travel anywhere. We will work sun up, sun down.
Don't I know it?
Yeah, you know personally. So like that, like even already we've done destination weddings. But yeah, like I said, that Philly wedding, like that was huge. That was huge, man. Like on Twitter, like one day, I guess when me and Mitchell was, let me tell you this, when me and Mitchell was editing that Philly wedding, we knew this was going to happen. Like he was telling me like, this is going to go viral.
Is that not a great feeling though, when you're doing something and the world doesn't know yet, but you know this is something special?
Listen, we stayed up 36 hours.
36 hours straight?
Edited that whole video. The first 30 seconds, we was just dancing because we knew we won. We was like, this is flawless. And when the couple put it up, I guess like the Black Love page like reposted it, and then it just spiraled from that. So my friends were calling me like, hey, I see your video on Twitter, and people were sharing it like that. As of right now, that was the best feeling for me. And like, not that I care about like views or anything like that, but when people like actually notice the hard work and the grind and the progression, that does.
And give you your
It
props.
gives me, it does. It does keep me going.
Right. It's a reinforcement to let you know that like you are on the right track.
Right.
Even though you're not necessarily at the destination or as big as you would like to be.
Right.
It's just showing that you have something special and you have an eye for what you're doing.
Yeah, and I just feel like we just found a way to like make ourselves an asset. So if we see a business, or someone, I mean, we could use you as an example. Just anything that we see that we can help, I'm gonna find a way to just get in the room.
Right.
Like I will find a way in the room. That's my whole thing. Like, all right, I need to get around these certain type of people. How can we be an asset? How can TailorMade be an asset to a company? And then me and Mitchell, we just get to talking. We show them our work ethic. I think a lot of people booked us clearly on our work ethic and just our passion and just looking into my eyes. Someone can see like, I can't lose with this guy.
Well, I mean, you made me a believer in our first conversation, and I'm not easily convinced of anything. So that says a lot. So we've talked about the trajectory and how you guys have expanded the business over the last few years. But tell me about a time when you had to be extraordinary on an ordinary day.
Oh man, I could. All right, so at the wedding expo, we met this guy, a photographer, and he was like, "Oh man, your equipment looks nice. This, that, and the third. There's this Sweet 16 that I'm taking pictures of. I'll keep you posted." So like he never responded. I was asking Mitchell, "Hey, did that guy ever give you a call?" He's like, "No." So I ended up going on I had a vacation in January to go to Puerto Rico. So I was in Puerto Rico, and then like he called. So he called Mitchell. So Mitchell calls me while I'm in Puerto Rico, and he's like, "Hey, the guy wants us to shoot this day. It's the same day I'm coming back from Puerto Rico, and I didn't take off that next day from work." I'm like, I got to build up the vacation time for gigs. But I'm like, "Oh man, what time?" And like my flight landed at 4, and the gig started at 6:30.
Oh my God.
So I'm on vacation, so I'm not really trying to sleep or anything like that. And Mitchell's in Philly, and this is in Connecticut. So Mitchell was being extraordinary that day as well because he had to drive all the way from Philly to Connecticut. He went to New York first, picked up some equipment, and then he met me in Connecticut. I got off the flight, went straight to the gig, took a shower, went straight to the gig, and we filmed this Sweet 16, and that footage, led to other things. So that was actually technically the first thing we recorded together.
Really?
Yeah, that was for free too.
So it was for free, and you rushed back from a vacation and did it anyway.
Yep.
And I mean, it takes that level of commitment, and this is like a message I want to get out, especially to 26ers, is that even if you are walking in your calling, if you are passionate about something, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
There will be days where you still don't feel like it, like period. And that is where you have to dig deep and say, no, I asked for this. And I have a really good friend. When I get in my moods and I'm like, I'm so tired, I don't feel like doing any more 26er info calls and recording. She's like, well, you asked for this. Like, this is what you wanted.
Right.
And I have no response to that because it's true. So there are going to be those moments where you have to be extraordinary on an ordinary day. And it means getting up even when you're exhausted and even when the return is not going to be immediate.
Right. If you don't love it, don't do it. Because if I didn't love, there's no way for free I'm going to rush from my vacation, then I gotta work the next day, and this guy promised us, hey, I just need you guys to film this, and I'll have another gig for you guys. He never called. I never seen that guy again.
Sounds about right.
So, but I knew I was getting what we were getting ourselves into because it's not like he didn't have the next gig for us.
Right.
I was thinking I just need this content,
right,
and I'm not gonna need nobody.
Got it.
So
okay, so I know that you don't want to just shoot weddings and Sweet 16s forever. So what's your vision for TailorMade for the future?
I'm really into documentaries. So me and Mitchell have some ideas. Obviously, he probably wouldn't want me to talk about it right now. It's in the works, but shooting documentaries, short films. for me, I want to keep it on the short film documentary tip. You know, Mitchell has his own dreams too that I would love to be a part of, but I'm just more so into documentaries and helping like kids out of college work with us, because no one wanted to hire me. So if I could go around to HBCUs specifically and you know, grab these kids, because I mean there was a point in time where, you know, I would be around my friends and like, you know, Mitchell went to Temple, some of my friends went to UConn, so they're, oh, what school did you guys go? UConn, Temple, Delaware State, what's that? You know, and people act like they didn't know what my HBCU was, to the point where I didn't want to tell people I went to the school because, I don't know, I felt like I wasn't good enough. But now I realize my HBCU prepared me for this, because I remember the first day I walked into class 5 minutes late, and my teacher, Miss Ava, she closed the door on me and she was like, in life, you gotta be 10 minutes early. Like me, being a black man.
Right.
So, like, I didn't feel like just a number at my school. Like, teachers really spent time with me and prepared me for life. So, if I could grab those students up, and I'm not discriminating against kids who went to Temple or anything like that, you know, but specifically, you know, black males or black women who are into cinematography and stuff, I would love for them to come work with us. And we just build this thing around the nation. Tailor-made East, tailor-made West, North, South.
Then you go international, baby.
Right. That's my dream.
Awesome. So where can people find you online?
Instagram, tailor.made.vp. That's the Instagram. Website, tailoredvp.com. If y'all want to follow me, I'm A_Wayne88. Instagram.
Might want to follow now, you know, get that Oscar later. People want to say that they knew you.
And if I don't get an Oscar, it's cool, cause
or at least an NAACP Image Award. Don't hate on the awards just for us, right?
But I must say, you know, it's crazy. I always told myself I was gonna be on the podcast one day, but I was always envisioning Combat Jack.
Rest in peace to Combat Jack.
Right. So then when you told me, you know, you actually knew him and he was your mentor, like, this almost feels like this was like meant to be. Yeah,
the first person outside of my inner circle that heard about December 26th, before it was even a podcast.
Right.
New York Tech Day, we were out on the floor, the main symposium, and I said, hey, I got this concept, and I like broke it down to him. He was there being Combat Jack with the Red Bull Music Academy, and he was like, that's so dope, and he recommended a couple of books I should read, and you know, we never got a chance to talk about this podcast format, but the Combat Jack show is one of the things that inspired me to take up this medium.
Wow.
And, you know, and present stories this way, not just in written form, but in audio and very soon in video.
Right.
Thanks to you and Mitchell.
Right. We're here for your video needs, man. Y'all have something great, man. This podcast is amazing. I just had to say that.
I just want to definitely give honor to Reggie Osei, aka Combat Jack. We've done it before on the show, but we still have conversations about how much more we think he was meant to do on this earth, and it's been almost a year at this point that he's been gone. So we hope that we can continue to live out his legacy of presenting stories to those who are blazing trails and being creative and choosing their own way and not necessarily following a formula.
Internets. Make sure y'all follow December 26th, man.
Awesome. Well, I thank you for your time.
Yes, same here. Thank you for having me.
And to our listeners, make sure you check out TailorMade VP. Check out Anthony Wayne. Get in now. Get to know him now before he's huge.
Yes, sir.
And remember to be extraordinary on an ordinary day. Take care.
Yes.